Hello and welcome to Harvey Bay. This is a spot that my family and I have been coming to for years and years, and I really love it here. There's something about the super calm waves, because I don't know about you, but I don't like to get dumped when I go to the beach. I'm more of a mellow wave kind of person. On a sunnier day, it's a really nice bright blue here, but today it's unfortunately a little bit cloudy. We are here for a couple of days though, so we might get to see some sun eventually, I hope. Another thing that I especially love about the beaches here is they're not crowded like the beaches that we saw at Malula Bar in the previous video. Also, the bay here is super long, so you have your choice of anywhere along here to stop. And we have a couple of key favourite places that we'll be taking you in this video. But right now, up behind Jessie here, who is behind the camera, is a giant water slide. I don't know if we'll go on it, but if you have kids, this is a great place to come because not only is there the water slide here, but there's a huge wet park with fountains spurting up everywhere and a giant bucket of water that tips when it feels like it. So you stand underneath and wait and it dumps on your head. It's great. But I think we might jump up there and visit a coffee shop. That's been a favourite of mine for a while. This is the best thing I've ever seen. How comes this? You just walk through and wash your feet after you've been on the beach. There should be one everywhere. One of my favourite things about coming to Harvey Bay is my favourite coffee that I've ever tasted came from Harvey Bay, from a place called Beanbeat. Every time I come here, I force Jessie to come back to Beanbeat over and over and over so we can have the coffee. And we had some breakfast today as well. I went for a BLT, gluten-free BLT, and Jessie got a single Benny, but there's none of that left now. He's scoffed it out.
I do agree with you about the coffee. It's like a big warm hug. Oh, I don't know if it's the milk or the beans, most likely both. Superb.
What should we do now?
There's no reaction here because it's not really cold. It's just kind of perfect. Woo, woo. It's a bit chilly all of a sudden. Oh, down that waistline. Oh!
After our coffee and standing on the beach earlier today, we couldn't resist jumping in, even though it's still a bit cloudy. No, not yet! What? I'm prolonging the agony. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Let's play Catch the GoPro.
I said catch it at least.
Throw it back.
We've got a tennis ball, so we have to improvise, I suppose. Looks like there's a sailboat regatta on behind me today. And right around here somewhere, about a year ago, is where something happened. What happened, Jessie?
We did get engaged a little over a year ago now.
In pretty much that spot over there. Memories. This is quite pleasant.
Yeah, there's a lot of young families here because there's no waves. It's very mellow and gentle. Ideal for families with young kids.
And for people who never learned how to swim in proper waves like me. The water's so calm here that I'm not even sure if there are flags to swim between, which is the thing that you do in Australia at least. At every beach that you go to, you're supposed to swim between the flags because the lifeguards are keeping watch and they know what the water is doing, whether it's safe to be swimming at that time. But you can swim pretty much anywhere at Harvey Bay. If there are flags, I can't see them from here. It's pretty calm. Also right now we're at Scarness, which is somewhere in the middle of the long stretch of the beachfront at Harvey Bay. Right near Enso's on the beach, where we'll be heading very shortly.
I think so. So the tide is right in now. It's almost hitting the rocks. I think it does hit the rocks up there. You probably can't see. But when it's low tide, it's literally, I'd say 200 meters out to sea. That's how shallow the drop off is. And when it's low tide, you can walk out pretty much with water at your knees for another 100 or 200 meters. It's pretty crazy. Like that pier over there, I think that would get exposed almost completely.
Here's a tip, if you're a girl and you get burnt on the top of your head pretty often, It's tied in a little half up, half down situation so that your part line isn't so exposed and gives you a little bit more protection when at the beach.
What about the boys?
The boys can do it too. How's life?
Couldn't be much better, except I'm a bit sunburnt.
Canberran comes to Queensland.
I'm foolish.
This is another one of our favourite places here at Harvey Bay. We have been known to spend hours and hours sitting here on these beanbag chairs at the front of the venue here at Enzo's on the beach, reading books, sipping cocktails, and just generally enjoying being on holidays. Cheers!
So the crazy thing about Harvey Bay is...
Right before, we were swimming basically right up to here. The water was up here. And now, it's all the way out there. We're gonna go walk out there and show you just how far the shallow water goes.
If you can see that, there's people out there basically up to their ankles in water. And before, the water was up to that line.
Look at all the little crab holes here. You can see where they've been digging up a storm.
So who's making those holes? Mr. Crab himself.
Yeah, lots of little tiny sand crabs. Imagine the photos you could get here in a pink sunset reflecting off all this sand flat area.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Bit sticky. That feels so good on the feet. It is the softest.
Free foot spa as well.
I think we're a good 100 metres out to sea now. Watch out for the sharks. They usually hang out here, don't they?
It's a bit shallow for the sharks, I think.
Crazy. We feel like we're in the middle of the ocean, but we're only up to not halfway up our shins yet.
I keep sinking.
You're in
it's
the
so
quicksand.
squelchy.
Oh, that is so soft. It's almost worrying. That is quicksand. Okay, I've never felt quicksand before, but that's the closest thing I've ever felt.
This is where our walking journey ends, before we sink into the sea and are never seen again.
Yeah.
Still not even halfway up our legs though.
That brown line there is how high it was at the start of the day. And now it's like still going out. We're not even in water anymore and we're 30 metres into the beach. Maybe don't walk too close to the pier in low tide. Got to bury one's face into it. You got to do that thing that snakes do, where they like loosen their jaw. Can't beat the plain old Aussie hamburger with beetroot. Oh. It's a monster, but I will easily defeat it.
Another reason that I love coming to Harvey Bay is seafront fish and chips, because they do gluten-free crumb for 50 cents extra. And it's kind of what I've been looking forward to all year, so I can't wait to get into it. We've also come full circle. This is where we started the day. We're right beside Beanbeat where we had breakfast. And now we're having some fish and chips. Time to try it. It's so hard to find gluten-free crumbed fish. Seafood is a must when you come to the coast. It's not negotiable. So, I'm very glad to be eating this. And I think we better put that on the camera now and eat before Jesse throttles me for stopping him from eating. We had to make a little stop.
I stuffed up. I'll never learn. We went on the beach, but it was meant to be just for a moment, and it ended up being longer than a moment. Enough for the sun to get me good. And this will do bugger all, but, you know.
It makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Are you doing the wave and the wave?
I'm doing the Mexican wave because it's like we're in Mexico.
What happened, Jesse?
Can't remember. What happened?
That's awkward.
Oh, that's right. We did get engaged.
Memories.
Oh,
Yeah.
Forget him. I can't make any friends. There's always fishermen on this pier. Although there's not always fishermen on this pier because you can't fish when there's no water here anymore. This is mental. Where does this happen? Harvey Bay. Did you see an enemy that was a sea anemone? Watch out for the sea anemone. If you see an enemy, it could be a friend, but it's possibly a sea anemone. If you see an enemy, it's an enemy that's your friendly sea anemone. Could be a friendly sea anemone.
As bad as an enemy.
If you see an enemy, it could be a friendly sea anemone.
Or an anemone.
Anemone, C, A, B, C, D, F, G.
It's right
So
beside
it was
there.
here that Jesse got burnt without wearing any sunblock. Was that here?
Did you just cut me off? That was hard on the job. Been chicken patrol.
Which one of you is Rachel made in?